number 7 of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series rolls here into Kentucky Speedway. Good evening, everybody, and welcome here as we get ready to cap off what's been a very exciting race weekend here from the Kentucky Speedway. In the truck race, we saw J.J. Roberts pick up his first career win, and in the Pizza Deck Series, we saw K Batson pick up her first career win in that series. Now, I've done the math, and 33 drivers of our 42 in this field have gone to victory lane in some way, shape, or form in a Hersheys Cup Series chartered event. But there are 9 drivers in this field that would be looking for their first career Hersheys Cup Series victory. Could we go for a complete weekend sweep here with a driver getting their first career win in whichever series they are participating in? We'll have to wait and see. Now, the front row would not count towards that. Joshua Osborne, a former winner back in Season 4 at Yas Marina Circuit, but he's having a very struggling rookie season this year, though. In his first full-time season with Joanna Atwood Motorsports, finds himself 40th in the point standings coming into this race, so we'll see if he can, with his good starting track position, be able to do something here. Alongside of him, it's inverted numbers, the 72 to the outside of the 27. J Cittadino trying to become the first 2-time winner this season after taking the checkered flag at Arizona, and that was actually his first career Hersheys Cup Series victory. Anthony McCrury, we saw him 2 weeks ago at Atlanta go to victory lane. He's also trying to get his second win of the season, which would probably lock him up a spot in the playoffs. And Scott Roush comes in this race overall top 10 in the points standings. He's a rookie points leader, but looking for his first career win, and he'll start on the outside of row number 2. We've had 6 races so far. 6 different race winners, the most recent last week, J Arndt at the Concrete Mile of Dover. Will we see a 7th driver here tonight? Let's get the command and find out.
Drivers, start your engines!
So let's take a look at the top 10 in the point standings coming in this race, presented by not by Golden Corral anymore. It's by Blame Shelley Insurance. Golden Corral was our sponsor last year. So, coming into this race, Joseph Srigley has been really consistent, had a top 5 run again last week at Dover, and comes into this race now with a 46-point advantage over the new second-place driver. That's Dylan Poteet. Then it's K Mathews. He jumped up to 3rd, and he's rolling off from 7th here tonight. Keith Batson dropped from 2nd down to 4th coming into this race. Tim Walch, a Daytona 500 winner, had a top 10 run last week, and he is now 5th in the overall points. Rest of the top 10, Brandon Gonzalez, who finished 3rd last week at Dover. He's now up to 6th. Scott Roush, rookie points leader, in 7th. J Cittadino starts outside the front row. He's 8th, and 2 drivers popped up into the top 10 after last week. K Shearer now up to 9th, and Charles Sandfer now up in the top 10. 2 of our former winners in the top 10 coming into this race. Tim Walsh 5th, Cittadino 8th. Rest of our former winners, Anthony McCrury is 11th in the points, Jessica Shelton 12th, J Arndt 13th, and Levi McIntyre 19th. So right now, all 6 of our former race winners from this season are in the top 30 and would be eligible for a spot in the playoffs. Question is, will we see a 7th driver go to victory lane tonight, or will one of our former winners get their second win of the season and all but lock themselves up a spot in this season's playoffs? It's time to go racing here tonight in the Bluegrass State. We're Green Flag Racing at Kentucky. Let's roll. Well, last night's Pizza Deck Series race was a derby. Kentucky's known for a derby, but last night it was a demolition derby. A lot of caution, so we'll see what happens here in tonight's race. Can they keep it clean and green, or will we see the yellow flag rear its ugly head multiple times this evening? Looks like they might complete the first lap under green, and they do. Joshua Osborne will lead them. I believe Osborne's a Kentucky native, but I'm not 100% certain. And boy, K Mathews was way down there on the bottom and really had to check up, as did Trent Dunham and C Dollerton. So that's showing me right away that that outside line is the faster way around the racetrack. That inside line can't quite get as much momentum into the corner without having to lift. Top 5 single file as Anthony McCrury has swung around Joshua Osborne for the race lead. Curry looking for his second win in 3 weeks, winning 2 weeks ago over teammate S Gallighan at Atlanta. And now Cittadino going to challenge for second. He'll go to the inside of Osborne. I don't think he's going to be able to make that work, though, as Osborne, with the momentum on the top side, will keep the position. Emmanuel Hartnett, who finished runner-up last week to J Arndt at Dover, riding a long winless streak and up here in the top 5, trying to get a win again for the second straight week. Trying to hold off the rookie Scott Roush, who currently is slotted in 5th place. J Baskinger had a great run last week at Dover. Jumped up into the top 15 in points, 15th in the standings coming into this race. Battle is on again for second. Cittadino to the bottom on Joshua Osborne. Kept it down there on the bottom that time, but I don't know if he's going to be able to clear. No, he's not. As a matter of fact, that brings Emmanuel Hartnett to the outside. That'll be a battle for third. Hartnett swings it really wide, and Cittadino will hang on to the spot for the moment. Here comes the 38, though. He's going to reel in both Hartnett and Scott Roush. Now, if this thing does indeed go into a long green flag run and we are able to run to the checkers, this race will come down to pit strategy. This Kentucky pit road, it's not a difficult pit road to get onto, but with a lot of drivers slowing down and other drivers trying to get around them with the different varying pit strategies, we've seen a number of times where usually if it's a green flag from start to finish, the caution flag usually comes out right in the middle of those green flag pit stops and shuffles the field up. Dylan Young, the 21st in the points. Good run here as he's battling for 8th with Jordan Lopez. And here come a couple of former champions of the series, Kyle Mathews in the 09, Trent Dunham in the 1. Mathews comes into this race currently situated in the 3rd position in points. One of the best starts he's had to the year, minus his championship season. And right behind him, Trent Dunham, former champion from season 5. He's currently 16th in the points and trying to crack the top 10 here. There's a driver that really could use a good run. The TCU Chevrolet of Chris Dollerton. Dollerton didn't even get to take the green flag last week at Dover. Dropped 6 spots in the standings down to 39th. Dollerton right now scored in the 11th position, I believe. Nope, actually make that 12th. Right behind him, 4-time winner last season, Benny Watson, looking for his first win this year. Watson comes into this race currently situated in the 22nd position in points. Right behind him is teammate John Arndt as he'll make the pass there on Dollerton. John Arndt riding that victory he got last week, able to hold off Emmanuel Hartnett and put himself in victory lane. Let's look up at the front, see if anything's developed. No, they're all just remaining single file for the moment. Cittadino did get around Osborne, so he's now in 2nd. So Kyotech Racing drivers 1st and 2nd. This is looking eerily similar to Atlanta when it was McCrury and Gallighan 1-2. Bear in mind that both these drivers running 1st and 2nd at this point in time are former winners this season. So if either one managed to go to victory lane here tonight, they would probably all but confirm themselves a spot in one of those 16 playoff positions. Good night for a few rookies, though. At least 3 of our 4 rookie class members are up here in the top 10. Osborne in 3rd, Scott Roush in 5th, and Holly Davis right there in the 7th position, keeping touch here with the top 6. Best battle on track's going on about a second and a half behind these guys, though. That's from about 7th on back. Dylan Young holding on to the spot. Trent Dunham side by side with Kyle Mathews. Cole Baker there, that black machine. See him to the inside of John Arndt. He's making his way up into the top 15. Someone's just dropped out of the top 10, because now Mathews is 9th and Dunham is 10th. Who's fallen back is the question. Might have been the 79 of Lopez dropping back. Someone just fell out of the top 10 not too long ago. I guess it might have been the 79. I think he was up in the top 10 not moments ago. Battle between some teammates here. This would be for the 13th position, I believe. 13th or 14th. I think it's 13th. John Arndt, Benny Watson, and now Seth Cole enters into this mix. The 98 up on the top side. Lopez and then a couple of teammates in Llamas and Miles back there. Back up to the front, see if anything's developing. This battle up here for 8th, 9th, 10th, this continues to be probably the best battle on track, closest to the front of the field. Mathews and Dunham, they've been side by side for a number of laps, and Dunham's going to try again for the position. And the only reason why we're watching the stuff back there is because up here there's really not a whole lot going on. They're still single file. McCrury, Cittadino, Osborne, Hartnett, Roush, Baskinger, and Davis. This is allowing them not only to lay down much faster lap times, but it's also helping them to pull away, which may allow them a little bit later on to start saving just at least a little bit of fuel. Dollerton now going to look to the inside of Trent Dunham. That's a battle for 10th place. Right now, Dollerton, the highest running of the CJ Racing machines. Next highest running, I think, was K Shearer, but he's either just outside or just barely inside of the top 20. As Dollerton got a nice run there up the top side of Trent Dunham. We follow it up here into turn 3. Drifts it up off the corner and not going to be able to get Trent. Baker tried to the inside of him for 11th, but Dollerton's able to slam the door, and now that brings last week's winner, J Arndt, into the mix. Kyle Mathews now trying to get Dylan Young. That would be 8th position. Not going to be able to make the move. Boy, that inside line. The inside line is great on corner entry, but has absolutely no run center off. You see right there, Chris Dollerton drift up to the high line, and look at the run he gets off of turn 2. He might actually be able to clear Trent Dunham for this position before they get into turn 3. Nope, not quite going to be able to do it, but he might be able to swing around this time for that spot. And he, well, Dunham battled back, and now Dollerton, I think, might be clear. So now Dollerton will move into 10th place. Ooh, Dollerton thought he was clear. And Dunham was still there. Mathews up ahead, battling there with Dylan Young. And look at this. Almost 3 wide. Baker took a peek. Thinks better of it as Dollerton and Dunham continue their side-by-side battle. Baker looking to see which line's going to open up, or should he make a third lane himself. J Arndt right there waiting in the wings, and this is actually allowing Seth Cole, Benny Watson, Cody Llamas, and others to catch up here. So we could have a number of drivers battling here for a top 10 position. But again, still the possibility of pit stops looming. Well, not the possibility. We will have pit stops, whether they be under caution or under green. Dollerton finally completes the pass, so he will now officially get the 10th position. We look up back towards the front. Still absolutely nothing going on, but a lot of bonus points being reeled in by the Season 1 champion Anthony McCrury. Cowtech Racing looking to have not only their 3rd overall win on the season, but also looking at their 2nd 1-2 finish in the last 3 weeks. It was McCrury and Gallighan in Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and now it's McCrury and Cittadino. And again, like I mentioned, both these drivers have won this season. McCrury at Atlanta, Cittadino at Arizona. So how aggressive would these two be in the closing stages? No, if it's, mano-y-mano, both these drivers want to get themselves a guaranteed spot in the playoffs, and they could do that with a 2nd win here tonight. You gotta also wonder what's going through the minds of drivers back behind them, like Osborne, Hartnett, Roush, Baskinger. Do you short pit? Do you stay out a little bit longer if the 2 leaders come to pit road? I mean, it's a cat and mouse game. And we saw a little bit of cat and mouse in our truck series race. We didn't get the opportunity for green flag pit stops in the Pizza X series race, but we did in the truck race, where at the time, J.J. Roberts, the eventual race winner, was running 3rd when the pit stops began. I recall correctly, Roberts was one of the first drivers to actually hit pit road when the green flag cycle began. So did these Hershey's Cup Series drivers take anything observing that truck race that they might apply here in tonight's Hershey's Cup race? We got a battle back here for fourth. It's the first time we've actually had them side by side here in the top 7. Whoa! Roush way up the track, and he got a lot of help. Oh, we got the pit stops beginning. And Baskinger stays out, so McCrury, Cittadino, Osborne, and Hartnett are in, and this is interesting. Oh, Dollerton almost got off. Well, he did get off track there on pit road, but he puts it back on. Everything good. This is interesting. They're pitting here on lap 28, which means they're pitting with roughly about 27 laps to go. This is right in the halfway point. Baskinger, Roush, and Davis are now in. Baker's coming to pit road. Benny Watson, J Arndt. Why not? You've already got a win last week. Why not stay out, see if you can gain some track position? Also staying out, another former winner this season, Daytona winner T Walch. J Gardner stays out an extra lap. RJ Reynolds will stay out. Chris Dodd also staying out in the 8. And J Arndt now will come to pit road. Walsh is in, Gardner, Reynolds, and Chris Dodd. And that might be it of the drivers that need to pit. McCrury there, a lap down. He will now come around and get his lap back. And it looks like Emmanuel Hartnett may have gotten off pit road second. Holly Davis now getting past Scott Roush. Baskinger trying to merge up ahead of McCrury. McCrury with a big head of steam though. Baskinger trying to see if he maybe can get this race lead. He might. McCrury's got momentum though. Will McCrury be able to make the pass is the question. Baskinger's going to battle him. And Jake Baskinger on the high side is going to hold the spot. Jake Baskinger, I think, is going to cycle around as the race leader over McCrury and Hartnett. What a job by the 38 team. Jordan Lopez going to go a lap down now to the leader. Let's make sure that nobody up ahead ended up getting out ahead of him, and I don't think so. Boy, Dollerton saw him get off course there when he came to pit road, so now he's lost a lot of track position. Another driver that lost track position was Jordan Lopez in the 79. And indeed, as you saw when they crossed the line, Jake Baskinger is now the new race leader. Now, like I said, it was interesting when they all came to pit road. They all started pitting back on lap 28, between like laps 28 to 29. Some drivers stretched it to lap 30, which puts them somewhere around 2 to 3 laps to the good if the fuel consumption is correct. So now the top 3 have broken away by about 2 seconds. Baskinger is the leader now. McCrury, who's led most of the first half of this race, he's in second. Hartnett, who finished runner-up 1 week ago, now finds himself in third. Fourth place is Scott Roush. Rookie Holly Davis right behind him, so a couple of rookies battling for that fourth position. Cittadino dropped from second back to sixth. Osborne now back in seventh. Dylan Young still holds eighth. Kyle Keith is now up to ninth. 10th place right now, Kyle Mathews. Cole Baker wants it as he's in 11th. How about Dallas McIntosh with that pit stop now up to 12th? Seth Cole currently is in 13th. He just passed J Arndt for that spot. Arndt back to 14th. Trent Dunham currently 15th. 16th place would be Cody Llamas. 17th is Benjamin Miles. 18th, RJ Reynolds. 19th place scored is J Gardner, and completing the top 20 would be Benny Watson. Let's go further back. 21st is T Walch. 22nd right now, Dylan Poteet. 23rd, Daniel Voyles. 24th, Zachary Fitzwater. Chris Dodd back in 25th. Jessica Shelton in 26th. 27th, Jordan Anderson. 28th place is now under contest. McIntyre will take it. 29th, Brandon Gonzalez. 30th is Cody Smart. 31st is Keith Batson. 32nd, JT Bryan. Charles Sandfer back in 33rd. 34th place is under contest here. Gallighan trying to take it from Daniel Gilbert. 36th is Shane Lake. 37th, K Shearer. 38th, James McCloud. And our points leader, Joseph Srigley, is all the way back here in 39th, and I believe he is the last car on the lead lap. No, he's not. 40th place is Dougie Shears. Lopez is a lap down. You see there in 41st. I think Dollerton maybe 2 laps down. No, he's also scored a lap down in 42nd. So he's close to going 2 laps down, is Chris Dollerton. Baskinger still leads, and now Scott Roush and Holly Davis have been able to reel in 2nd and 3rd place, McCrury and Hartnett. McCrury now going to try and break away from that, is now Hartnett under fire from Scott Roush. Give a little bit of an assist there to Roush's teammate Lopez for holding up the 61 and the 20. That allowed the 60 and the 3 to be able to reel them in. It looks like Hartnett, though, is going to clear Lopez. He'll hang on to 3rd place. Here comes Cittadino in the 72, closing in on this group as well. Well, last year, all 3 of the Flying Aces racing cars went to victory lane. Jon Arndt twice, or no, I'm sorry, Jon Arndt once. Baskinger, I think, was once. And Benny Watson. Nope, Jon Arndt was twice. Baskinger was once, and Benny Watson 4 times. So far this season, Jon Arndt's the only one on the team that's gone to victory lane. That was last week. Flying Aces Racing looking for back-to-back wins, and what a tear they have been on for the last week or so. You had Jon Arndt winning the Hersheys race at Dover last week. You had J.J. Roberts winning the truck race. And now, Flying Aces Racing looking for their 3rd win in the past 4 events. The battle for 2nd continues to heat up between McCrury and Hartnett. Hartnett makes a couple of charges, but then just cannot complete the momentum. And when we went through that full field rundown, I noticed a couple of drivers that are running well in the point standings that are not running well here today. Joseph Srigley, we already documented, back there around 39th, came in the points leader. K Batson came in 4th in points. He's way back there. Saw Charles Sandfer was also mired way back in traffic, and he came in 10th in the standings. Also, James McCloud, who had, I'm not going to say a great race at Dover. He dominated the first half of that race, got involved with a speeding penalty during pit stops, and had to limp it home to, I think it was a 14th, 15th place finish. He did gain spots in the point standings, but obviously not the finish it could have been for him, and we saw him also near the rear of the field. But how about some of these drivers here today with the runs that they've had? I'm looking at, Hartnett, looking for what would be back-to-back top 5 finishes. You got the rookies, Holly Davis, Scott Roush, and Joshua Osborne. Trent Dunham with a well-needed run. How about Kyle Keith popping up here into the top 10 here in the closing stages? The 29 team's been very, very consistent. They hit a bump on the road last week at Dover, getting caught up in a wreck, but they are doing pretty doggone well this season. And like I said back at Dover, this seems to be the year with our condensed schedule is a battle here for 3rd, Hartnett, Davis, and Roush along with Cittadino. But this seems to be the year with the condensed schedule for drivers to get into the playoffs based off of consistency. But right now, we're looking potentially at having our 7th different winner of the season. Baskinger last year was in the hunt for the championship. Was unable to get it though, and has announced that this is going to be his final year with Flying Aces Racing, so certainly trying to end off his swan song season with the team, if you will, on a high note. Baskinger, we already documented, comes into this race 15th in the point standings. Had a great run last week at Dover, finishing 7th. Also finished 5th the week before at Atlanta, so riding a lot of momentum is the 38 car. And we just had a change for second. Don't look now, here come the rookies. Holly Davis and Scott Roush, they ganged up on Emmanuel Hartnett, took third and fourth. Now they're taking second and third from McCrury. And this is with about 7.5 laps to go. These two have anything for the 38. I've also noticed that they are approaching Dougie Shears in the 07, Chris Dollerton, the lap car in the 83. Would traffic like that in any way play a factor into the outcome of this race? Holly Davis is the highest we've seen her up at the front. Had that runner-up finish back at Arizona to J Cittadino, closest she got to a victory so far this season. And now in the runner-up position once again. Remember we said the last two races here this weekend at Kentucky have been first-time winners. Davis wants to make it the sweep. This is a team that won the championship last year with Brooke Allen behind the wheel. Davis looking for her first career victory in the Hersheys Cup Series, all over the back bumper of the Red Bull Chevrolet of Baskinger, who's going to try and hold her off. Roush there, waiting to see if anything happens. Here comes Davis to the bottom for the race lead. Baskinger going to try to get that run off of turn 2. Looks like he will clear. Scott Roush now around the outside. He's going to try and take second from the 3. And now as the two rookies will go side by side for second place, that's going to give a little bit of a reprieve to Baskinger. Roush now clears Holly Davis. He's now in second place looking for the top spot. Look at the 60 drift up to the high line there, trying to get the big run off the corner for a good straightaway speed down into turn 3. He's going to look to the inside. Is he going to be able to get to the left rear quarter panel, though? He's not quite there. No, not quite going to get to him. Then again, maybe he will. Yeah, he got some good momentum there off turn 4. They're side by side, Baskinger and Roush. Roush has got to try and slide up in front of the 38. Can't do it. Baskinger gets the run off of turn 2. Not yet clear on the 60. Roush will put it back down to the bottom again. Here comes Holly Davis. Will she try and find a line? Oh, wow, Roush got really loose off the corner there, slid up, and he's going to lose some ground as there's 2 laps to go here at Kentucky. Car of Dougie Shears just up ahead. I don't know if they're going to catch him before this is over, but look at the gap now that Baskinger has back to second as Davis and Roush kept that battle going maybe a little bit longer than either one of them would have liked. J Baskinger trying to make it into the playoffs for what would be the 6th time in 7 seasons in the Hersheys Cup Series. White flag displayed, 1 more lap to go. Roush has got 2 more tries. Gonna drift it up a half groove higher. Going through 1 and 2. Tries to get the big momentum. He got the car of Dougie Shears ahead. Will Roush try and use him as a pick going here into 3? Roush didn't go to the bottom. Instead, he goes a little bit higher than Baskinger. Will he try and dive into the inside here off of turn 4? Not close enough. Jake Baskinger is going to get his first win of the season here tonight at Kentucky. And Flying Aces Racing go back-to-back in the last 2 Hersheys Cup Series races. Hart last week at Dover, Baskinger this week at Kentucky. And it all goes back to that round of green flag pit stops. It was looking like it was McCrury's race to lose. Baskinger's team got it done on pit road, got him out ahead of the 61, and Baskinger never looked back. So close there for Scott Roush. I think maybe if he had made the move to the inside a little bit sooner, he might have been able to make it close between him and Baskinger, but Baskinger had that preferred line off of turn 4 on the high side, which would have given him just a little bit of an oomph in front straightaway momentum coming to the start-finish line. So I don't really think Roush could have done anything unless he had made a move on the inside, maybe heading into the entrance of turn 3. Comes up about 7/100ths short, does the rookie out of K Shearer Racing Tech. Holly Davis will finish in third. McCrury had the dominant car the first half of this race. Will have to settle for fourth. Fifth place for Emmanuel Hartnett, so back-to-back top fives for him in his last two starts. Cittadino in sixth. Trent Dunham will finish the night out in seventh. Eighth for Seth Cole, great run for him. How about Zachary Fitzwater cracking the top 10 closing stages? He'll get ninth, and Joshua Osborne, third rookie to finish in the top 10 in the 10th position. Kyle Mathews, they dropped out of the top 10 in the closing stages. 11th and 12th, though, good runs for them. Benjamin Miles in 13th. 14th was Johnny Gardner. 15th, Dylan Young. 16th, Cody Llamas. 17th was R.J. Reynolds. Cole Baker kind of faded back there to 18th. Dylan Poteet 19th. And Dallas McIntosh, who was up, I think, inside of the top 15 when we had the cycle of green flag pit stops completed. He dropped back to finish in 20th. Chris Dodd will finish 21st. Benny Watson 22nd. J Arndt, our winner last week, back in 23rd. Tim Walsh 24th. Sandfer in 25th. Rest of the top 30 were Jessica Shelton, Jordan Anderson, Daniel Voyles, Levi McIntyre, and Brandon Gonzalez. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, and two names in particular that really stand out to me are the drivers that came into this race first and fourth in the point standings. That would be fourth in the standings, Keith Batson, finishing this race in 35th, and then Joseph Srigley, who came in the points leader, he finishes out the evening in 39th. So after, I think it was, three straight top 10 finishes, he finishes way outside of the top 35 in this one. We went green from start to finish. 40 cars finished on the lead lap. Dougie Shear's the last of those. And then Jordan Lopez and Chris Dollerton finished a lap down in 41st and 42nd. That is back-to-back last place finishes for the 83 team. So they are really struggling here in the first half of the regular season. But J Baskinger is going to take his first checkered flag of the season, become the 7th different winner this year in the Hersheys Cup Series in 7 races. So now 16 of our slots are filled up by 7 drivers in race win form. And boy, I'll tell you what, the momentum of the team of Flying Aces Racing certainly is strong as well. We're certainly going to have to see if now Benny Watson is going to be able to complete the sweep for the team for the second straight season, having all 3 of their cars go to victory lane. We'll find out if maybe that'll be as soon as next week at the Springfield Mile. But thank you all for tuning in tonight's race from Kentucky. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown you full feature results. These are your rookie point stands, your overall points heading into next week. Pizza X Series is off. We'll have Trucks and Hersheys Cup Series action at the Dirt Mile, Springfield Mile. That's going to be a wild one before we get everything set up for All-Star Race weekend break. And then we begin for all 3 series, our chase towards the chase for the championship. We will see you guys next week at Springfield as you've been watching Production History, Offline Racing at its best. J Baskinger may be heading back to the playoffs for the 6th time in 7 seasons here in the Hersheys Cup Series. He takes the checkers tonight at Kentucky.